Hi guys, welcome back. It's Nancy, and today we're going to be making a card with this brand new Seaside Treasure Hunt stamp from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. As you can see, I've already made a sample. Unfortunately, this did not stamp out so well because I did use Yupo paper with alcohol inks, and I used StazOn ink, but it left some white areas. I did try to go back in with a Copic marker and color those areas in, but it's just not as good as we would like it to be. So I'm going to redo this. I'm going to try to stay with the same color scheme, but we're going to try to use distress stains. If you don't have distress stains, you can use reinkers, you can use your ink pads. It's basically just the smush method. But what we're looking for is a clean, crisp, stamped image when we're done, along with the pretty background. So I'm going to put the background aside. We're going to be working right on my non-stick mat here. Where is my crafty mat? Let's bring that out. There we go. And I have 3 colors of Distress Stain: Mermaid Lagoon, Blueprint Sketch, and Wilted Violet. And again, you can use what you have. And basically, we're just going to do the smush method here. So we're going to lay down some of this ink. There we go. We want a good saturation of that. And I'm going to try this on Bristol Smooth cardstock. This is the darker blue, the Blueprint Sketch. And then for the top layer, we want Wilted Violet, which is the purple. That's a lot of purple. All right, let me add a little bit more teal here. I do have the video on the alcohol inks. I may post that later if you guys are interested in seeing that. All right, and then I have my Distress Sprayer, so I'm just going to add a lot of water to this. Okay, and just going to take our cardstock, kind of go down in the middle, smush it around up and down, and then lay the edges down. And hopefully we get some good color saturation all the way out to the edges, up and down there. Grab a paper towel, should have put gloves on. Okay. Okay, that's actually pretty nice. I am liking that. I know you guys can't see it because I'm trying to drip off some of this extra ink, but wow. Okay, so we have the teal, we have the blue, we have the purple. I am going to dip into the purple a little bit more. I'm actually going to bring my heat tool in and kind of heat set this, and then I'm going to go back in and layer on some more colors. So let me show you guys what we got going on here. All right, so we have some nice colors there, but I want to saturate that a little bit more. So this is fairly dry. I'm just going to go back in and darken that, hit it a second time there with those colors. You can see they're moving around, which is pretty. Me. Okay. And then we're going to go back in and again, just keep layering and saturating those colors. We want it to be much darker up top than we do on the bottom. I'm going to dab off some of that extra. And I know some of you are going to ask, why didn't I just do this on watercolor paper? Because watercolor paper is going to have that, the bumpy edge, which I don't want in this. I really want it to be fairly smooth. I am going to spray this and wipe it down now. You could make another background. But I didn't want to use watercolor paper because we'd have the same problem with stamping the image out, that it wouldn't come out smooth. So I wanted to have that smoothness. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit more of the Mermaid Lagoon and try to darken up the bottom there. And again, just add that color. And you can use this with your ink pads. If you have distress ink pads, or you have any water-based ink pad will work. Dye-based ink pad, I should say. The distress oxides work really great on this technique as well. So any of those that you have will work out great. So we just darken that up, and again we're going to heat set that. Okay, and once again, I'm just going to maybe do one more quick little dab here. I like the look of the ink as it dries, and it gives us these abstract organic looks to the ink. You know, the little spots, the water spots. So I want to keep that. Once again, I'm going to clean up my mess. And we still have a couple of spots ink. I'm just going to dab those up. And we're going to accentuate those water spots by doing some light pulls with the Distress Mister. Will give us kind of big spots of water, and I'm going to let those, whoops, that one's a little too big. Let those sit on there just to give us the lifting technique, where we can lift that and we'll have this white kind of bleaching effect from those water spots. So we're going to let those sit just a second. And then we'll take our paper towel. The longer you let it sit, you can see the more ink gets lifted. And now we have those white spots. So this will be our background. Now on the original one, I had the lighter colors at the bottom and the darker ones at the top. I think for this one, I'm going to flip it this way so that this is our water and this is our sky. And you can add as many layers as you want if you wanted to use the Distress Oxides. Again, I definitely recommend drying in between because you don't want it to get muddied, but it's fairly easy of a technique to do. I am going to dry this again. And like I said, when you have that ink down, you can do multiple panels at once. Just have fun making a whole bunch of different color backgrounds. I'm going to use my Mini Misty here going to take the rubber out because this is a red rubber stamp. I'm going to put my image down, put the magnet on to hold it. I'm going to grab my stamp, and this stamp has a couple of different sentiments as well as some birds. We're going to stamp the background and the birds at the same time. So we're going to put our birds right there. And then for the background, you want the part that looks kind of shaded. That's the bottom, that's the shadow. Okay. I just want to look at it and make sure that it looks straight. I believe it is straight. And then I'm going to go in with my VersaFine Clair because of this being a silhouette image and I want it to be super black. VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Have my universal handle on the back to hold on to that. And this sometimes takes a few inkings to get a solid image, and that's why I went with the Bristol Smooth paper, because on the previous card you guys saw, it was on Yupo paper with StazOn ink, and I stamped it I think 3 or 4 times and still could not get a completely black silhouette image. So I had to go back over the image with Copic markers, which just basically moves the ink around. But it wasn't as black as I would like it to be. Okay, my birds look amazing, so we can take those off. They look great. And now we're going to go back in and we're going to continue to stamp this until it is really solid black. Now, if you wanted to, you could also do some heat embossing on here. I try to not do the heat embossing because of this technique with it being a wet background with a lot of ink on it. I'm afraid that embossing powder will stick to the background and I don't want that. So I just really want to make my image nice and black. Okay, we are almost there. You can see just a little bit more in the center. I think one more time and we should be okay here. All right, that actually looks pretty good. I'm going to do one more on the little boy because there's a little spot right there. That looks pretty good. So then we're just going to mount it on our card base. Now that ink does take a second to dry completely, so you don't want to rub your fingers across it because you will smear it. So I'm going to run the heat tool across it again one more time. Okay, and then you would just mat it, frame it up, and put it on a card front. And on this one, you can see I did a black mat, and then I did a blue foil card mat to frame it off. But you can see how much better that silhouette image looks now, stamped on a flat piece of paper that takes the ink versus doing the Yupo. All right. I do want to show you another one I did make with pan pastels. There isn't a video on this one, but it's just really simple, just coloring it with pan pastels and stamping over it. So all I did here was just mask off this area here, stamped it first, and then I did the yellow, orange, and red, and then did just light blue down here at the bottom, and then went back to my stamping platform and stamped it again. So you want to use a stamping platform so that way you can stamp over your pan pastels, and then of course spray them with a fixative when you're done. So you can see it looks very nice with the pan pastels. Of course, it's easy to stamp on those. And here we have a little bit more of an organic, kind of a distressed ink look with the water spots. And then there we have the alcohol inks. So all fun different ways of using your silhouette stamps. Let me know which one you like the best. If you like the pan pastels, if you like the alcohol inks, or if you like the distress inks. Comment down below. You can find the supplies I use down in the comments. Thanks for watching and keep on stamping. Bye guys.